right, I think we are live. Oh, now we are live. Awesome. Let me go down to this part of it. Okay, cool. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Billy Hoekman. I am the Vice President of Nutrition and Communication for Green Juju. So I'm here today to take any questions that you guys may have for us. So getting started, we are going to be talking specifically about the Golden Blend, which I have right here. Sorry, I did run up the stairs with this, so I'm a little bit out of breath. That will tell you me being almost 40, but we will be talking about this Golden Blend. However, I would like to get started with just the general idea of the lives that we do here at Green Juju. So we are a transparent company who likes for you to know why we make things, how we make things, and why we're doing the best things for your pets. Make sure, by the way, if you're here, to tell me that you're here, to say hi, start your questions, that kind of thing, because I love seeing all of you guys. So, but we love transparency, and we know it's important to have a face with the products that you're making. And we are a very small company of two. Sorry, I'm making sure my dog's okay. Good, he's chewing on something appropriate. My dog is by my feet. We are a small company of two people. It's just me and Kelly Marion, the owner of Green Juju, and we are making products currently that make every diet better. So it doesn't matter if you're feeding kibble all the way up to commercial raw or homemade raw. Adding our products is going to make all of those things a lot healthier, and which is one of the reasons I joined Green Juju, was so I could affect as many bowls as possible. So we will be here every month to answer your guys' questions and say hi and just really connect with you guys down the line. So I see a lot of people here are starting to leave comments, so thank you for that. And also, don't be shy with just starting with your questions as well, because there's always some that I miss at the end. So if you want to get your questions in, let me know. But we'll start out by talking about something we released last fall, and something that, you know, when I first came on with at Green Juju in June, these products were sort of in development, and I got to come in and be a part of that as well, which is really cool for me. And it's one of the, you know, we have two green blends, but we also have the Golden Blend, which, you know, I'm going to try to work my camera magic here with the focusing on it, but I think you get the idea. So this is going to be, you know, I think we're known most for our Just Greens, you know, and then having the Bailey's blend, and those are great blends to feed, and they're great blends to rotate through. One of the things we've talked about recently is our 17 plant challenge. So really it could be called the 17 plant 3 bone broth challenge, because you're getting 17 different plants and 3 different bone broths when you rotate through all of our blends. Now the other two blends are different because they're green blends, but let's not discount something that's totally different. So it is very important that when you're doing that, you know, rotation, that you get in our Golden Blend. So the first reason would be I really want to reach out to all of you that are feeding pumpkin with your dog's diet, just generally for stool health, for fiber, because of the quality of digestion you're seeing there, for feeding the microbiome. If you're feeding pumpkin, I know there's a lot of you out there that feed pumpkin, you know, every day to sort of get the things that I was just talking about. This is going to be a better option. So the number one ingredient in this product here is organic butternut squash, which is going to be similar to pumpkin, obviously, in regards to its nutritional properties, obviously in regards to the antioxidant content being in that same golden, you know, carotenoid beta carotene family in terms of that, but also in the fiber department as well. So, but as you'll see through this just, you know, brief explanation we're going to do here, you're going to also get a lot more benefit. So you're going to get all the things you were getting in doing for digestion in regard to feeding that pumpkin, but you're going to get so much more because this is not just a squash blend. There are a lot of other very, very important ingredients, which obviously we will talk about, as well as some of the other non-plant ingredients as well. So all of you pumpkin people out there, that's who I'm going to address first, because you're going to get the same fiber quality, the same soluble and insoluble fiber that you're getting, as well as obviously those other health benefits as well. So we're going to go sort of down the ingredient panel here, and you're also getting something that is amazing for digestion. Well, first we'll start with palatability. So we know that a lot of dogs just won't eat vegetables straight up. So if you were to hand your dog a piece of salad, they typically wouldn't go for that. So one of the great things that provides palatability is our bone broth, and this one contains duck bone broth, which is a wonderful source of the free amino acid protein, as well as being high in collagen, which is going to help digestion. Just generally, it's going to help in terms of the gut lining. It's going to help in terms of joint health. It has a lot of benefits. It also adds a lot of moisture. It also adds a baseline of minerals and trace elements. So those things are going to work synergistically in that in that in that way. We also have organic cauliflower, which is in the same family as broccoli, which is going to provide those sulfur compounds that we know are anti-cancer. So when we talk about anti-cancer, the study that we mention a lot is the 2005 Purdue University study, and one of the reasons we did this golden blend, if I can hold it straight, this golden blend right here. I'm going to do that, so it's not exactly subliminal marketing. I'm just going to randomly be like, look, there it is again. So one of the reasons we did this was because in that study, not only did they look at green vegetables and the likelihood of, reducing the likelihood of getting the bladder cancer they were looking at, but also they did orange and yellow vegetables as well, which is a whole different type of antioxidant because as you know, probably from listening to me, if you come to these lives or just generally about nutrition, every plant color is a different antioxidant. And so this one, you're getting a whole different color set in regards to that beta carotene being the most well-known probably in that color set because it's listed as vitamin A, weirdly, in a lot of foods. So, so we do also have that cauliflower in there as well. We also have, going down the ingredient panel, we also have golden beets, which is one of my favorite ingredients. This is probably my favorite ingredient in this blend, just generally. And golden beets are, have those same earthy properties, those same mineral rich, those same, antioxidant tones, but you're getting a different type of antioxidant. So we have other products with beets, and you're going to be getting, those are red beets, and so you're getting a different antioxidant property in this. So this is another cool way to pair those things. You're noticing that you're getting all these different plants in our golden blend, which is going to increase the different types of fiber that are going in the diversity of fiber that's feeding the microbiome. So when you're doing wonderful, I don't know if you can hear that, but my dog is currently ringing the bell to go outside, so hopefully he can hold it. If you know Huckleberry, make sure you leave some comments about Huckleberry in terms of doing that. So you're also increasing, obviously, the fiber content and feeding the microbiome. So it's going to help those probiotics, whether you're getting them through food, let's say goat milk, or a probiotic supplement, or something that's fermented. I think this is a great pairing, and I do that with my own dog's diet as well. And I consider this to be the number one source of fiber, obviously, in my dog's diet. So also, as with our other blends, you're going to have coconut oil in here. So coconut oil is great in terms of being, antiviral. It's great in terms of its medium chain fatty acids, in terms of its longer chain fatty acids like lauric acid, so caprylic acid and capric acid. So this is going to be a great, and this paired with the apple cider vinegar is going to be a great way to help regulate your dog's blood sugar, because you don't want their blood sugar to rise too much when they're eating. And both of these ingredients are really going to help that. The extra fat, all those healthy fats, and also the extra apple cider vinegar as well. So, and in apple cider vinegar, that's the acetic acid that does that as well. So then you round that out with ginger and one of our personal favorites here at Green Juju, turmeric, to get the golden blend. So I'd highly recommend, if you're using our green blends, to rotate to this. If you're more comfortable with something like pumpkin, this is going to be a great thing, again, to rotate to instead of just doing the one-off in terms of doing that. Because one of the things we're all about at Green Juju is not doing your mono feeding. Hi, buddy. Well, he's no, we can't eat the headphones though. Okay, I know. So we, although I'm sure you guys all don't mind when you see a dog. So so I totally just lost my train of thought because my puppy is eating my headphones. So maybe we should let me know if you want to see Huckleberry, because he is an adorable dog. Totally just lost my train of thought for this dog. So going back to that golden blend, oh yes, I know exactly what I was talking about. At Green Juju, we're all about variety, so we're not about mono feeding your dog. So it's not about adding pumpkin every day. It's about switching between our blends. It's about getting as many different healthy foods into your dog's diet to provide a broader nutritional profile, as many as possible. And so going to our golden blend, if you want to just do that and get that many plants in, or rotating between all of them, that's exactly what I do. I get the just greens, and then I get, I go through the just greens, and then I go through Bailey's blend, which is exactly what I'm going through now. And then once that's done, I go through the golden blend, and I repeat there in terms of doing that. So, and it helps this guy be as healthy as possible, right, buddy? So we'll kind of rediscuss that. Maybe do some conclusion at the end with this guy here. Again, there is our golden blend. This comes in 15 and 30 ounces, by the way. So something to consider. Hi to Marilyn and Doreen and Julia from snowy Vermont. I know it's been weird with the snow. I live in Pennsylvania, and it was snowy here yesterday, and I'm ready for spring, I think, like most people. Hi to Arlene and Doreen. I saw the first message and assumed that you meant hi, and hi to Judy as well. Kristen says, love the golden blend, but have not been able to get it recently due to back order. It should be available. She's a good problem for you guys. Well, we still want your dog to be able to get it, so it should be available. Someone said they could hardly hear me, so if that's true, let me know. The other thing I want to mention to you guys as well, and I can show you this live here, now that I'm thinking about it, is I would like to cover the product itself. So this is called the golden blend because it is golden in color. So that's obviously the antioxidants we're focusing on here. But what you'll see when you open this up is that air has touched the top of the product. So you'll notice a brown sort of or tinge or darker tinge to the product. That is actually a good thing. It means that there's no preservatives in the product, right? It means that this is actual organic food that is going to change color when oxygen hits it. So you'll notice right when you scoop below that it's a wonderful orange color, but don't be turned off from using the entire product. So that product that's been touched by air and slightly discolored is what someone this week phrased as the guacamole effect, which I think was an awesome way to phrase that. So obviously, you're going to get some discoloration there. But again, that is a good thing because we want to feed our animals food that will have, issues there. So you'll notice it is a darker color on top here. And so that's totally normal when you're feeding that. This one's obviously still frozen. When you're feeding this product, just look at that and think to yourself, wow, this is food that those enzymes are reacting to the air because this is real unprocessed food, and this is the food that is healing and nutrient-based and helps your animals. So something to keep in mind when you're opening those up. Hi to Terry in Australia. I wonder what time it is there. And hi to Brittany in North Carolina. Let me just see. I want to make sure that I can. Oh, good. So some of you can hear me. I think most of you can hear me, so that's good. Turn your volume up. I'm turning mine up as well, so we should be good. Hi to Brittany in North Carolina. And Tammy says, can I feed this my cat this? So you could feed your. So we have these products are more made for dogs because cats are obligate carnivores, but they still can benefit from diverse fiber profiles. So you can feed this for fiber purposes, and we have had feedback from cats. This working out well for their digestion, just generally. They're not going to pull exactly the same things as dogs and cat, or as dogs will from this, as dogs are not, obligate carnivores. So, yes, and I would just start smaller and then go from there. Also, if you're listening to this and you have a cat, our treat line is amazing for cats. So check out all of our treats, and they're highly palatable as well. I think that's because we use so much organ meat in it, which makes them, the healthiest treats on the market as well. But cats seem to go really crazy, not just for salmon, but especially for bison is another one. But we've been getting great feedback on all those things. So I also, because I don't want to forget this as well, I think you guys have seen our post last week about us announcing some new products soon. So that's going to be really exciting. I don't want to disappoint you, but I'm not doing that now. But we will be announcing soon, I think, when we're going to do that. And I think you guys are going to be very... Oh, I'm a little bit out of focus here. Let's see if we're... There we go. I think you guys are going to be very, very happy. And I think the products are going to be really unlike anything that exists on the market. So I'm very excited to get those out to you guys. And for you guys to see those. So let me know in the comments if you're, if you're watching this live, if you're excited about those new products. I'm excited, so hopefully you're excited as well. And there'll be some announcements coming up on that soon. Hi to Claire in the Pacific Northwest. It's been too long since I've seen you. Marilyn says if you can't hear them, you should turn up your sound. I agree. So Patricia says, what size containers? So we have the 15-ounce containers and the 30-ounce containers in our golden blend here. So 15 and 30. We also just have the 15 and 30-ounce containers in our Just Greens and Bailey's blend as well. We used to have 7.5-ounce containers, but unfortunately they just didn't sell, so we had to recently discontinue those. So, but if you're using the Just Greens or the Golden Blend, you can always portion those out and refreeze them as well, because refreezing them is going to have is not going to, nutritionally damage them. Steph says, is the Golden Blend available in stores where we can get the green blends? My dog is loving the green blend. First time using it. Cute pup. Oh, I don't know if you're talking about... I'm sure, I don't know if you're saying your pup's cute or if Huckleberry here, but they're both cute, I would imagine. So you can. If you guys are buying our products from a store, you can get any Green Juju product there. So just ask them to order you this blend and you can go from there. So, and thank you so much for using our products. We really appreciate that. And it's a big deal for us. And please thank your store for turning you on to our products as well. Because remember, for all you retailers watching out there, you guys are really the heroes here. You guys connect with customers on a daily basis and help our small company, get out there and have these products available. So Kristen says, would love to be able to order the blends in bulk from you. Huckleberry, yes. Want to see him. Yes, everybody wants to see him. I will get him out. He's you want to come up, buddy? Or are you sleeping? Come here. Let's go. Hopefully I can do this without be able to see myself here. Hopefully I can do this without messing up my cord situation. He is getting much bigger now. What do you think, buddy? He's like, what are you doing? What do you think, buddy? Huh? Huckleberry's about 7 months old now. So his story is he is a third-generation raw-fed boy. And he is a great family dog. He is absolutely, sorry I knocked this situation. He is wonderful with my daughter, and they are the same age, so they'll grow up together, which is really cool. So Brittany says, are there serving suggestions slash portions on the container, or is it the same amount for any dog? There are serving suggestions on the container. You'll see this daily feeding right here. If you probably can't read it, but there's a daily feeding amount. So there's for tiny, small, medium, large, and extra large. Now these are just, it's very, very hard from a caloric standpoint to overdo our blends. So if you look at let's look at this one. I was gonna give another example. So this is 14 calories an ounce, and an ounce of this would be a lot of product. So obviously, no dog is going to become overweight from doing this. So you can either A, feed the recommendations on the side of this, or B, just do the plop method, which is take a spoon, a large spoon for a large dog, a regular spoon, or a small spoon, and just do a large plop for a large dog, a medium plop for a medium dog, and a small plop for a small dog. So it really just depends on if you're a measurer or not. So there's a lot of people who are measurers. I measure with a lot of things, but I don't. I'm more of a plop. I'm becoming more of a plop person with Huckleberry. So you can do whatever you want. Lily says, I use fresh pumpkin twice daily into both my dogs' meals. So this would be a great time to try our golden blend. Kristen says, love that Bailey's blend ferments. I agree. I fermented the one that I'm using in my kitchen as well. So if you'd like your Bailey's blend to ferment, we recommend buying the largest container. And we recommend using it fresh for 8 days. And then after the 8th day, that on average, the pH will be down at 4 or below. And then it will be fermented. So you get 2 different nutrient profiles, which is really cool with the Bailey's blend. You get the fresh nutrients, and then you get those pre-digested fermented nutrients as well. So that was one of the cool, very sort of coming together moments when we realized that for me joining the company and realizing that the Bailey's blend ferments. And so it was a very nerdy moment for me, but I'll take that because I'm a huge nerd. So Nate says, can I eat this? We recommend this for, while this is all, human grade and organic and better, than human grade items, we recommend feeding it to your dog. So Terry says it's 9:20 a.m. in Australia. So that's actually not too late or too early. It's actually a good time. I hope you're drinking coffee right now, Terry. Coffee is my absolute favorite thing. I have 2 favorite things in the morning. One of them is feeding my dog, and one of them is drinking coffee while I'm doing it. I have an almost 12-month-old daughter. She will be 1 year old on May 1st, but I still wake up before everybody so I can feed the dog and, have my moment. So I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. Matthew says, I've had to pop in and out because of customers, so forgive me if this has already been covered. That's okay if it's already been covered. But we can refreeze fermented Bailey's blend and use it later. Yes, you can refreeze it and use it later once it's been fermented. However, it also lasts for, 22 days total. So a lot of times you wouldn't have to refreeze it, but you can. Because remember, some bacteria will die when you freeze something, but most of it survives. I mean, obviously, that's true, just generally. But so not a dumb question, and you definitely can freeze it and use it later. Irene, I hope we made you happy, Irene, by showing you Huckleberry. She said, don't make us beg. Please let us see that gorgeous fur baby of yours. He is, I think, a very regal-looking bulldog. If you'd like to see, more pictures of Huckleberry than you probably ever wanted to see, you can also go to my Instagram as well, because there's tons of Huckleberry pictures and baby pictures. So if you're into that, check that out. Also, I do food bowls over there, and actually, I have a hashtag for my dog's food, which is small bulldog food, which is a hashtag for my dog's meals. So something you check out as well for ideas how to use green Juju every day. Kathy says, I'm so excited to find out what is new. I am so happy about that. We're very excited to launch those items. Melody says, thank you for being such an advocate for our fur babies and helping us have quality products we can trust. Your dedication to pet health is amazing and much appreciated. Thank you so much. And I'm going to definitely, obviously, include Kelly in that as well, because she really is the backbone of this company and built such a legacy before I got here. So I'm just here to help contribute to that. Kristen says, more product, woot. Patricia says, excited about your new products. Are you going live with the products? There'll be some announcements soon. So don't worry, you'll know all of this soon. So Gretchen says, hi, Billy. I will see you next week in Erie at Nickel Plate Mills. Yes, that is true. Let me just get out the old calendar here. I will be doing a Q&A at Nickel Plate Mills, which is a pet store in Erie, Pennsylvania, on Tuesday, April 26th at 6 p.m. So if you're in that area, or even if you're in or around Pittsburgh, it's not too much of a drive up there, I swear. Come and join us, because I would love to meet you and answer some questions, and then hopefully you'll learn some things there. So come on out if you are in Erie next week. Claire says, will there be a dried version or a freeze-dried version of the Golden Blend? So that's a great question. We're always looking into what will work in the future. When we released the freeze-dried version of the Just Greens, that was a whole new foray for Green Juju. So we were kind of seeing, okay, how is this going to do? Or how are people going to react? And we've gotten a really great, overwhelming response. So that's a great suggestion that, for potentially doing a freeze-dried version of that. Not to say that, we have anything with that planned or anything, but we always love taking suggestions. So if you're ever on a live and you want to make a suggestion, we do see them. And so it's just us too. So, just throw stuff out there. Steph said Huckleberry, yes. Well, I'm sure your dog is very cute as well. Lily says hello from Virginia. Christine loves the Golden Blend. Claire's dog, Austin, is a third generation raw fed dog as well. That is so great. There's, it's really cool, I think, that we can find, I was at the Albany Pet Expo, the Healthy Dog Expo. I got the privilege of speaking there a couple weeks ago, and I went to Karen Becker's talk as well, and she did a really good talk on genetics, and just really interesting to hear, the new science and perspectives on genetics and how we can improve the lives of rescue dogs, and also, of breeders who are, doing it right and feeding raw food and that sort of thing. So spoiler alert, it's with a, first and foremost, a unprocessed diet, biologically appropriate unprocessed diet. And it's just an amazing time to be part of Green Juju, because we're starting to see a lot more of the science as it relates to plants and unprocessed plants, and how they can affect, longevity and just the general life quality of dogs. So when I talk about, when we talk about dogs just generally and dog health and, something I've really dedicated my life to, after, I think 12 years in the pet food industry, I think it all boils down to this, focus on quality and hope for quantity. No one can be guaranteed how long their dog's going to live, because you just don't know what your dog's mother ate when she was pregnant or before she was pregnant. You don't know what your dog's mother's mother ate or your mother's mother's mother ate. And all of these things are critical in gene expression. So focus on quality. How do I take the dog that I love, regardless of where they came from, and give them the best quality life for their genes? And so, if your dog lives to be 28, awesome. If your dog lives to be 12, but you gave that dog everything you could, and the quality of life was amazing, then you did the best you can, and that's all you can do for that dog. So um, I don't really know how I got here, but I think it's one of the great ways to be able to do that in a very easy fashion as well, is to just, you know, in terms of reducing the probability that you're going to deal with a health issue, is just incorporating some of these blends or our treats or our bone broth, or, getting these things into your dog or cat's diet. So something to think about. Doreen is Team Plop. Julia says, my daughter has a Frenchie. He's actually visiting right now, sitting with me on the recliner. We are sharing the heating pad. He's quite the character. Yes, Frenchies quite are quite the we obviously we had a pug before this, and she was very sort of cat-like and very subdued, and so it's having a Frenchie puppy is a whole different thing. But yeah, he's definitely, like, we were looking for a very sort of like rough and tumble boy dog, and that is exactly what we got. So he's been a really cool family dog up to this point. So that is awesome. And he's lucky that he's sitting on a recliner right now as well. So Catherine is wondering about frequent buyer programs for those of us with very huge dogs. Yes, you do have a very huge dog. We do have a frequent buyer. We are on Astro for stores that participate with that frequent buyer program. So if you're buying from a store and and they have Astro, then we do have deals on there in terms of, I believe it's buy 12, get one free. So something to ask your store about as well. Christine says, my kid gets a dollop of one of the green blends at dinner and the golden blend at breakfast. That's awesome. See, there you go. That's an awesome way to get variety into the diet, and also just to get, I just think that's really cool to be able to do that. So I'm sure that you portion those out, but just great work there, Christine. So Jessica says, I work at the Green Spot in Omaha. Where can I get a green Juju hoodie? I knew that question was going to come up if I wore this hoodie. So that's a good question. If you're a store, currently we don't have any hoodies. I'll just be honest with you. There was one or two of these made that I'm currently wearing, but that's a good idea. So maybe that's something we should consider in the future with hoodies. So that's a great suggestion. And also, I'm a big fan of the Green Spot in Omaha. I've known Jess and Whitney for a long time, and also Suki there, and spent a lot of time in Omaha. So in fact, the first speaking tour I ever went on, I spoke at the Green Spot, and I think when I initially, this was a very long time ago, when I initially was like, hey, I should come speak at your store, and they were like, who are you? So they took a chance and let me do that, so that was really cool. Dawn says, where can we purchase this line? So you can purchase it first and foremost at independent stores all across the country. So we do have a store locator on our website as well, and most independent stores pretty much anywhere in the country can order you the product if they don't have it, but maybe have it on the shelves. You just have to ask them, and that is definitely going to be the most affordable way to get it. And that's where we want you to go, rather than buying it directly from us, because we like to support our local retailers and get that money, keep that money in the community, and have that connection. So that's the best way to do it. If you live in a place where you just can't get it, you can order it from our website. It will be more expensive than buying it at a store, but we understand that there are people that can't get it, so we do make it as affordable as possible on the website as well. So there's a lot of options for getting it, but all of that would start on our website. So check us out at greenjuju.com. Kathy says, does Green Juju sell t-shirts or hoodies? Not currently, but that is a good suggestion. Laura, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Laura loves the freeze-dried greens. Thank you. Carrie says, hi from Calgary, Canada. Where can I find your products? I'm trying to think of where Calgary is. There's a big map right behind me. So, I'm going to show you. All of you from Canada, don't judge me because I don't know where Calgary is offhand, but I can give you an idea of what's happening in Canada. So, and Carrie, if you want to let me know where that is, that would be great, or anyone else. And just please forgive my lack of geographical knowledge there. So, we are available in Manitoba West right now, so you can get all of our products. We're available at local independent retailers, and our distributor, if your store wants to know who to work with there, is called Avafina. So we are available in independent stores in Canada from Manitoba West, and we're currently working on the eastern part of Canada as well. And we expect to be there soon, and we would love to be there as well. So Kristen has a cranberry, rosemary, thyme, ginger suggestion for a blend. All right, we will take that as a suggestion. Kathy says, I use all of your products, great stuff, and I feel confident feeding it. That is wonderful. Peace of mind is not an easy thing to come by, and we love that we can provide that for you. Dawn says, I have 3 huge Newfoundlands. What would you suggest for them? Severe environmental allergies. I would suggest by starting with one of our blends and doing a large plop. And if you don't start to see some, aside from the seasonal allergies, you didn't really outline there being any issues. And so I don't want people to think like, oh, I'm not going to feed this unless it's an issue with my animal, because health is always, nutrition is always cumulative. So you want to start with, all of the healthy things. So especially a lot of people with 3 huge dogs like that can be on a budget just from the sake of that they're 3 huge dogs. So I would start by adding, a large plop of one of our 3 blends and maybe rotating between them and see, if you have any luck there too with some of those allergy symptoms. Jerry says, in Cleveland, Ohio, can't get the Golden Blend. Can it be shipped? It can be. You can get it on our website, but you should be able to get it in Ohio. So Jerry, if you have a store there that you shop at and they're having trouble getting it, just have them reach out to info@greenjuju.com, and we can help to try and mitigate that situation. So you should be able to get it there, but if for some reason you can't and you're out of luck, you can also get it from our website. Judy says, with the freeze-dried greens, can I freeze after being hydrated as I do DIY meal prep? You can. That's a great question. I've never gotten that question. So awesome job, Judy. You can refreeze it after that point. So no problem with that. Dawn says, he's working with leaky gut. Oh, okay. So you're talking about with the Newfoundlands? Yes. Okay. Yeah, I think a lot of dogs are dealing with leaky gut and just digestion issues generally. Kristen says, love the hoodie online. Maybe someday, now that we're seeing all these suggestions. Brittany says, can I serve the blend as a frozen treat? You can. A lot of people incorporate our blends into like a Kong style treat or one of those licky mats, and they refreeze it and to be able to do that. So absolutely. So I would encourage you all, whatever you're doing for, mental stimulation in terms of, that sort of thing, incorporating our frozen blends is a really good idea, especially, they can be very palatable there. So, where can I find this in Canada? So, we kind of went over this, but right now we're in Manitoba West, all the way to British Columbia, at local independent stores, and just reach out to your store to see if they have it. If they don't, they can probably order it. Um, and what was I going to say? Oh, and we're working on Eastern Canada right now. So be patient. I swear we're working on it. Jessica says, please come visit us at the Green Spot. I may have to do that. I don't know if what the upcoming year is going to bring me exactly. There is, a good amount of, for those of you watching, I'm not going to obviously go over them all right now, but, my year is starting to shape up for some of the public events and that kind of stuff. So, got some cool stuff coming up in Florida in May. A really cool event with Dr. Kangas and Dr. Sands at Integrative Veterinary Care in San Diego in June. And, for you retailers out there, obviously there's, shows and that kind of stuff. So a lot of cool stuff coming up from the year. So if a lot of that stuff is on the social media of the people putting on the events, but usually, we share that kind of stuff as well. So if you got the opportunity to come out, I'd love to, meet anyone. So check it out. Da, 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 da. Lily says, I always feed dogs from the shelter and feed real foods. That's great. Brittany says, will you be sold in PetSmart or Petco? I don't have any small business pet shops. We will not, as far as I know. We're here again. I'm not exactly sure where you live, but if you email us, we might be able to try and help you with that, Brittany, or you could order off our website as well. But we are very dedicated to our local independent retailers, and so that's where we want to stay. Oh, Carrie says above Montana. Thank you so much for that, Carrie, and I hope that you're not thinking I'm, really stupid at this point. So, yes, you should have stores in your area. So find a independent store and reach out, and they should be able to get the product for you. Lily says, do you send out any newsletters or emails? We're working on that, actually. Christine says, no rosemary, please, but I'm on board with the cranberry one. So now we have, you guys are our formulation team, so thank you so much for that. Marianne says that Zeus loves everything green juju. Thank you so much. Remember, we can really, help to make all of your dogs and cats' diets better at every level. So, if you're using our treats, which are very low in carbohydrates but high in those high antioxidant plants and organ meat, we can help to. One of the things I do for my own personal dog to get his digestion going before he eats is I feed his bone broth right before. To get that collagen going and to work on the gut lining before he actually gets his food, so you can, work in terms of that, especially if you have a senior dog, and joint health and things like that. And then you can incorporate our blends. So, and one of the things we're looking to do with products in the future too is really just affect the diet at every level so we can maximize, health just generally, like I was talking about earlier. So. Kristen, up in Minnesota, having trouble for getting the golden blend. Shouldn't be an issue, but but thank you for letting us know that Chuck and Don's is having trouble getting it, because now that we know that, we can at least try and find out what's going on. Judy says, can't wait for the new products. Michelle would totally love to rock a green Juju hoodie. That's great. My sunshine loves green Juju popsicle. See, there you go. Especially we got summer coming up eventually when it actually gets nice out again. and we can do things like popsicles and frozen treats and that kind of stuff. So green juju is an amazing way to do that as well. Catherine says you should make green juju hoodies for dogs. That is an amazing idea. So these are all great ideas. Appreciate you guys. This is our marketing team now. So appreciate our new marketing team, all of you. Dawn says, does Godfrey's carry this line? Yes, Godfrey's does carry it. So it should be right on the shelf there. If not, they can order it for you, but I'm pretty sure they carry it. Kristen says, would love to see you at an event that was dog friendly so they could meet the person helping keep them healthy. Yes, I would love to meet your dogs. A lot of the events I do are like educational, so people don't have dogs there, which, is kind of a funny thing. But I do love meeting new dogs. So especially when I'm on the road, because then I don't get to see my dog for a very long time. So that would be awesome. So if you're in the area of somewhere I'm doing an event, bring the dogs on out. So Michelle says, thank you for supporting small shops. You are welcome. We know how that is. Most of your small shops have more employees than we do at Green Juju. So, in fact, I'm the only employee at Green Juju. So we understand small and how that works, with small businesses and taking on many hats and really just doing something because you love helping animals and people. And so Lily says, how do your products work with kin and kind? Can you use them together? I use Healthy Skin and Coat, Healthy Poops. Yes, you could definitely use them together, or you could, it's always good with supplements and that kind of stuff to rotate between them. So you could also rotate between them. You could use that product and then go into the golden blend, let's say, and stop the healthy poops and do that, or you can use them together. It really just depends on the dog itself as to what's going to work. Because remember, in nutrition, that's one thing I think that people overlook a lot, is that every dog is an individual, just like people. A good example of that would be, me and Kelly are both very health conscious with our own diets. And they couldn't be further apart from each other. I drink a lot of raw milk and eat a lot of animal products, and she is eating mostly plants. And so and it works well for our bodies to do both of those things. And so I think dogs, while we need to fit within that species appropriate, area, dogs are exactly the same way. So you kind of just have to see what works best for your dog. And, that's for us nutrition nerds, that's the funnest part about it, in my opinion, is, my soulmate dog, Lua, who passed away in August, is completely different than Huckleberry. So feeding them is a totally different thing. And it's been really interesting to just go through and figure out, what's going to work best for Huckleberry. And it's not always what worked best for Lua. So the larger point there is to see what works for your dog. Because I think a lot of times in nutrition, we can get way too dogmatic into this is what needs to happen here, and this is what complete and balanced is, and this is, X, Y, and Z to be able to do that. So just something to think about for all of you when it comes down to this stuff, to be able to do that. So where did my questions go? Hopefully that was a good answer. Whoop. Suzanne says, hi, Billy. Thanks for the video from Albany. Oh, I didn't know that the videos were available. Well, I guess you are welcome. I knew I got the video, but I didn't know if the videos were available. But glad you liked it. I really enjoyed speaking there. It was really cool being in Albany. And seeing so many, pet parents again and meeting people. And it's just, nice to be around like-minded people. So Kristen says, I give Cocoyo thanks to you. Yes, a great product to combine with Green Juju products. So well, here's one really cool way you can use green juju. So you can use something like cocoa, which will provide the probiotic content. So that's going to be, I believe it's 12 billion per tablespoon. And sorry, I'm going up. I just want to make sure I don't lose my spot here. So it's 12 billion probiotics per tablespoon. So if you do a plop, a tablespoon plop of the cocoa and then and then a plop of green juju on top of that, you're going to be getting all of your probiotics. You know, it's a really good ferment. So a ton of probiotics. I'm actually very impressed by the amount of probiotics I can get to grow in that. And then number two, you are going to get the fiber to feed that, as well as obviously all the other green juju health benefits, but you're going to be feeding all of those probiotics with the fiber. So, what a great combination there. And there's a lot of people using that now, so that makes me very happy. Carrie says, is it okay to give green juju blends by by themselves as a snack? Absolutely. Just depends again on what works for your dog. Krista says, hold on, are you Between Two Ferns? If you're referencing the show Between Two Ferns, that is an amazing reference. These are not ferns, these are spider plants. So I got them because they're really good at cleaning the air. But that is an amazing reference if that is what you're talking about. So bravo there. Melanie says, thank you for these great products and thank you for supporting our small brick and mortar businesses. You are welcome. I just think that pet food retailers have such a cool relationship with their customers that it's just really our honor to be able to support that. So, oh, okay, Suzanne, the video is not available. So all of you out there that were like, oh, the videos are available from the Albany Healthy Dog Expo, they are not available. Someone asked me to film a video saying hi to Suzanne. That's what you're talking about. Got it. Okay. Yes, you're welcome. Happy to do that. I hope I didn't seem too nerdy when I was doing that. Jessica says, oh, wise Billy, in your opinion, what makes a food complete and balanced? We're about to end this thing, so that is a little bit of a long answer for this sort of thing. But, you know, uh, there's a few different metrics you can go by. You can go by the AFCO complete and balanced metric. You can go by the NRC metric. Um, you can, you know, all of those things have limitations, and there's opinions there and limitations. So I would encourage, if people are really looking for what is complete and balanced, having worked in that realm of diets and just formulation in general. You just have to decide, am I looking for complete and balanced, even if it contains synthetic ingredients? Am I looking for something else? Some of the limitations there aren't limited to. I'll leave you with one thing that I think is just kind of really interesting. So, sorry, I'm going to move up so I can see myself here. So, for instance, if you look at the AFCO Complete and Balanced Guidelines, there is actually, for cats, there's two. So there's food with moisture and then also kibble. But with dogs, there's only one complete and balanced that you can meet, and that's 4 kibble. So you have to sort of like make all the other moisture containing foods adhere to the kibble standard, which doesn't really make any sense because when they wrote those, they were using ingredients that inhibited the absorption of certain, say, minerals, things like phytic acid. And so a lot of times what that can lead to is too many minerals that are being added just to meet those. So long story short, it really, it takes it. If you want to do some research, I think it's definitely worth it to look into some of those guidelines to be able to do that. And maybe we can do a live on that down the line or something like that. Sorry, I did want to give out that one little tidbit, but it's just a very long question for, and we're about to come to an end here. So Jessica, if you'd like to reach out to us at info@greenjuju.com, we can, I can opine a little bit more on that to be able to do that. But I would start by looking at, AFCO standards and NRC standards. There's whole animal standards. It just depends on what you're comfortable with. So in conclusion, I do want to end on this. Remember, this whole thing here was about this golden blend. So this golden blend is very high in all of those yellow and orange antioxidants from the turmeric and the golden beets and the squash. It's very high in insoluble and soluble fibers for feeding that microbiome. Remember, more than 70% of your pet's immune system is in their gut, so it's absolutely critical that they have a functioning, a well-functioning microbiome to be able to be healthy. And so this is going to go a long way in providing antioxidants and providing fiber and providing just a great base, for your dog's general diet. So something to think about there. And if you do have any questions about that, please reach out to, bring her over. I want to bring her on. So obviously when my daughter walks by, we can bring her on. So come here. Oop, don't want to get her foot. Oh, there you go. So you guys can tell me how cute Maple is. This is Maple. She is the best thing in the world. So she has a block, and she's being very shy right now. Aren't you?
Can you wave?
Can you say hi? Can you say hi? So anyway, I would love to see your comments on oh, there she goes, on just how cute my daughter is. So I'm just going to throw that out there. So, well, good night. She's going to bed. So, oh, okay. I know. There you go. All right, guys. Well, now that you've seen both my dog and my daughter, thank you guys so much for coming, and make sure to pick up some of our golden blend, and your dog will be much, much healthier for it. So we'll see you guys next month, and everybody have a good night.